But hello, my name is Miranda Doremus Resner. I am a teacher at Salinas Adult School, and I also work for the Salinas Valley Adult Education Consortium. And welcome to this presentation with my friend Jose Barajas. And we will get started. So the Salinas Valley Adult Education Consortium, just to give a little bit of background. So the way that the funding is distributed to all adult schools in California and federally is through the Adult Ed Consortium. And in California, there are more than 70 consortia, and we belong to the Salinas Valley Adult Education Consortium along with some other entities. So in our consortium, we have Soledad Adult School, also Hartnell, Gonzales Adult School, Monterey County Office of Education, Salinas Adult School, as well as North Monterey County and South Monterey County. And through the consortium, this is how all of our services at the adult schools are free. So basic services that adult schools provide is we provide English as a second language, high school diploma, as well as high school equivalency, basic computer skills, citizenship, as well as career technical education. So programs designed to give you training to specific occupations such as dental careers or nursing assistants or CNAs, as well as classes to support parents and parents of students who are in K-12. So some special projects that our consortium has going right now is free consultations with an immigration lawyer. Her name is Armida Mendoza. She has 15 years of experience, as well as her colleague Lorena Vargas. And these consultations are free, and they also happen online or in person. The next one that we have is in November. Many times consultations can be very pricey, but with our partnership with these lawyers for the consortium, we're able to offer these consultations for free. Other projects that we have is if you have a foreign degree and you're interested in validating your degree here in the United States, we have a presentation about that process and how you can accomplish that. This special project is Ven al Café con Pan, of course. You are here, and today, for example, this project is how to open your own business, how to start your business. In November will be the presentation about how to validate your degree if you have a degree from another country or a licensure or some kind of other certificate, occupational certificate. And then in the past, in August and September, we had two different presentations about immigration and citizenship with our lawyers and our partners, Armida Mendoza and Lorena Vargas. Those are available as recordings. If you are interested in watching those, please reach out to Ana Mendoza at the Salinas Valley or Salinas Adult School or Salinas Valley Consortium on Facebook, and we can connect you with those recordings. And it's also not just for people in California. It is also, so if you have families who outside of California who are having, who need, consultations for immigration, this is available to them as well. And this is the information of our lawyer, Armida Mendoza. So if you need, phone number or email, this is how you can contact her. So other special projects that's in particular we want to highlight today is, Entrepreneur of the Month. And these students were specifically helped by our, by Jose and his agency. Sorry, I'll let him introduce his agency, but we wanted to highlight their businesses that they started. And sometimes, many students think that they need to have an advanced level of English, but many students have been helped at whatever level, literacy, beginning, intermediate, and of course advanced as well, but to start their own business and to be entrepreneurs. And so we want to highlight what these students have accomplished as entrepreneurs. So once again, thank you for being here.
All right, I think I'll just go ahead and get started on my end with my end of the presentation. So go ahead and share my screen. So like my colleague mentioned, my name is Jose Luis Barajas. I work with the Central Coast Small Business Development Center, and we're joining you all today for a presentation on starting a business. But just want to, on the onset, kind of communicate that today's presentation is largely going to focus about what we do as a Small Business Development Center and how we support small businesses, rather than really going through step by step how you actually start a business, because it kind of varies individual by individual and business by business. So with that, I'll go ahead and get started with a brief video from our partners down in Cal Poly, the Cal Poly SBDC. We are part of the same SBDC network, but they created a very neat video explaining on what is the SBDC. All right.
The SBDC is such a priceless resource on the Central Coast.
The SBDC is providing founders with the tools to help them build a better business, consultants who have experience in so many different areas.
And we are there to understand where the business is at. Is it just getting started? Is it already existing? What are your challenges and needs at this moment in time?
Through the SBDC, startups sign up to be clients, and they're able to connect with a large pool of consultants.
When you apply, which is very simple to do, and you're selected to be a client, you will be referred to a lead consultant.
Those lead consultants will then tap into our pool of 37 consultants, and they all have expertise that are extremely specific.
Something that people don't realize about the SBDC is the reach that they have. I don't think people realize that it's not just about business. It's in marketing,
Merchandising,
design,
branding. So typically, whatever a startup might need, I believe we have an expert in our pool that can help address those issues and work with the founders to make progress.
It really helps companies, I think, get a better grasp of what they need to do faster, so they're able to move and be nimble and figure out the market that they're serving as fast as possible.
All right. So with that, a little bit more about us. So who are we at the SBDC, the Small Business Development Center? Well, the SBDCs were actually authorized under the President Eisenhower administration. So we've been around for quite a while. We're a federal nationwide program with over 1,000 locations nationwide. No matter where you are in the United States, whether you're in the contiguous United States, the state of Alaska, state of Hawaii, or in one of the overseas territories like Puerto Rico, Guam, the Mariana Islands, there is an SBDC assigned to support businesses in your community. We're also a proud resource partner of the United States Small Business Administration, better known as the SBA. And our primary sources of funding are through a cooperative agreement with the state of California and the SBA, and a grant from the California Office of the Small Business Advocate. And with that being said, everything we share today does not reflect any of the perspectives or views of SBA, Cal SBA, the state of California, or the Central California SBDC network, and solely express any opinions of the Central Coast SBDC on its own. A match of $165,000 was required to run the SBDC locally. So our host organization, the Monterey County Business Council, has partnered with a number of different jurisdictions and nonprofits to ensure its success. So we just wanted to give them a quick shout out and thank them for their support in order for us to be able to provide these services locally. Oops. I don't need that. Okay. What do we do at the Small Business Development Center? The core of what we do is three main things. The first and the largest component of what we do is expert one-on-one business advising. So what does this mean? We connect you with a business advisor, whether it's a generalist, someone who can help you with anything and everything, right? A little bit about permitting, general finance, maybe some legal assistance on how to set up your business. And we also have advisors that have much more advanced degrees and areas of specialty. Like we have folks that are intellectual property attorneys, labor law attorneys. We have folks that are CPAs. We have folks that have advanced degrees and specialties in marketing. So regardless of what a business needs, we're able to connect you with the appropriate person that can support you. We also host a variety of different workshops and trainings. So workshops like this one, which can be a little bit more informative or a little bit more on an educational topic like the Corporate Transparency Act, how do I comply with it, or any new policy or regulation. We'll typically host some informational workshops on that, and we'll invite resource partners with the appropriate agency to present on that. We also do business trainings. And what we mean by trainings is, for example, say you have a retail business, you have a boutique with 2 or 3 locations throughout our service area or other areas, and you want to train your employees for the holiday season on how to boost your sales, right? So we'll connect you with a business advisor with that area of expertise that can help come up with strategies for your staff on how to drive more sales, right? So maybe they try to teach your staff that, hey, maybe when someone comes up with a blouse to the checkout counter, you bring up like, hey, that's a really nice blouse. Like it would look really good with the new line of shoes that we have. Or have you checked out, this other product that we have, right? And it depends business by business, right? If you're more in the food industry, it's like, hey, you got that conchita, that pan dulce. Have you tried our chocolate, right? Have you tried our café de olla? Just those other things that a business can do and staff can do to help drive more sales. And we also offer other resources to small businesses and entrepreneurs throughout our service area. Currently, we are administering 3 different grant programs to support local businesses, and I'll get a little bit more into that later on in our presentation. All of our staff here at the Central Coast SBDC is bilingual in English and Spanish. Our main office is in Salinas, and we have outreach centers in the city of Monterey and city of Soledad. We're in Monterey on Mondays from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. and on Wednesdays in Soledad from 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. We do take walk-ins, but we do prefer just an appointment. That way, if and when you walk in, we make sure that we have a staff member dedicated and that's able to assist you. Our business advisors speak a multitude of languages, anything from English, Spanish, Japanese, Portuguese, Arabic, you name it. We're also able to make other linguistic and physical accommodations upon request. Some of our clients do have different abilities or disabilities, right? So we have some folks that are visually impaired and we make other accommodations for them, or some folks that aren't able to leave their home. So we also make accommodations for them as well. I'm going to go into 2 of our clients, a few different case studies about the type of support that we provide and how each of them take advantage of the SBDC resources we provide. So here we have Mr. Wayne Thompson. He is actually Dr. Wayne Thompson. He's the owner of Pacific Paleontology, and he was actually our Central Coast SBDC Business of the Year for 2025 this year. So Mr. Thompson was and is a professor of paleontology at UC Santa Cruz. And like many folks during the pandemic, he also struggled, right? So his program, he was put on administrative leave for a few months, and he also had to figure out, how am I going to pay the bills? What am I going to do next, right? So he reached out to the SBDC at that time, and with Sharon Meixel, who was a regional business advisor, but at that time she was a program manager. So she held my position a few years back before she moved on to do business advising. He reached out to Sharon, and she shared, hey, there's this program right now called the California Dream Fund. The California Dream Fund was a pandemic era state program that provided $1,000 to $10,000 startup grants for folks that were starting a business. But one of the components was that they had to get some sort of training through the SBDC, right? So Sharon connected him with in form of the grant. He said, yes, great, let's get working on that. So he worked with Sharon to create a comprehensive business plan and a marketing plan, applied for the startup grant, and he was able to secure the full amount of $10,000 to help him get started. He also really takes advantage of our on-demand training. So aside from the workshops and trainings that we provide, we also have an online library that's completely free and accessible to all of our clients. If and when they sign up, they can access all of our trainings on everything from QuickBooks to marketing to AI trainings to customer relations trainings, sales pitching. We have all that information on our website, and it's also offered in a multitude of different languages. Since working with the SBDC, Mr. Thompson has secured a multitude of different public and private paleontological mitigation contracts. So here in the state of California, particularly, there's a lot of laws about anytime that there's the disturbing of the soil, that there needs to be some paleontological mitigation that's done, right? Whether it's for historically significant artifacts, culturally significant artifacts, consulting with the native tribes in case there's anything there that might be of value or historical or cultural significance, doing all that work. He's the type of person that leads all those types of projects. So locally, he's worked on a multitude of different projects, but just to highlight a few for you all locally that we all might know is the MST Surf Bus and Rapid Transit Project. So if you've driven across on Highway 1 heading southbound towards Monterey, you'll notice that on the right-hand side, there are and or used to be some railroad tracks. So they're creating a bus and rapid transit project there. So he's actually doing the mitigation work right now as we speak, out there working with students from UC Santa Cruz and CSUMB, providing them with the internship opportunities so that they can also go on and become the next future Dr. Thompsons of the paleontological world. He is also doing he completed the paleontological mitigation for the Imjin Parkway Improvement Project. So if you've driven, again, over to the peninsula from Marina to Highway 1, taken Imjin, he did all that paleontological mitigation for that entire corridor before the project got started, and most recently also completed the Monterey High School Stadium project. And his largest project to date that he just secured 2 months ago is the San Jose Alviso Microsoft Data Center. So it's a new AI data center that's going to be up in the city of Alviso, and he's also working on that project as well. And here we also have Saul Cardenas, and he is a young man from Salinas who recently graduated from Cal State Monterey Bay. He has a degree in cinematography and video production. He's a passion for video, but very little experience running a business. So when he got his degree, again, during the pandemic, he didn't want to move to LA. He didn't want to move to San Francisco or New York City, any of these major cities, to try to make it work. He wanted to be able to stay local. So he also had the issue of no one in his family owns a business, neither his parents, none of his siblings, his cousins, his aunts. So he just really didn't know who to reach out to for how do I start my business? Where do I go? Do I need any permits, right? So he was able to be successful enough to get things up and running on his own, but he'd been in business for 2 years and he kind of hit a wall. Like most people that start off the business, he was working really hard, putting everything that he has into all his projects, but he wasn't seeing any real tangible growth. Right? Nobody goes into business to lose money. Everyone gets into business to make money, right? So that was one of his biggest struggles. So when he reached out to us, I was actually me who he reached out to, and I was able to connect him, let him know, like, hey, actually, we have an upcoming workshop in partnership with the Salinas Valley Chamber of Commerce. Why don't you join us, learn a little bit more about what we do and type of services we provide, and if you feel that what we do is a good fit for yourself, we'll connect you with a business advisor. He joined the workshop, loved the idea of what we do, the one-on-one business advising. He's like, this is actually exactly what I need. I just need someone to help guide me through this whole process, someone who can be more of a mentor to me. So he was paired up with Dr. Brad Barbeau, who actually just retired from CSUMB. He was a professor of business, and he led the Center for Innovation and Economic Development for CSUMB. And he worked with Dr. Barbeau to develop a strategy. So he helped him clarify his business goals and his pricing strategy. One of Saul's biggest issues was pricing for his services, right? So he wasn't actually accounting for all the time that it takes to go into video production, right? So from creating everything from the scripts, coming up with the lightings and the scenes, providing all that to the client beforehand for approval and review, to putting all his equipment together into his car or his vehicle, driving out to the location, and or coordinating an off-site location, doing the actual recording, doing the post-production, and then doing the delivery. He really wasn't taking into account all those additional hours and was really only charging folks for the time that he was there on site, right? So helping him understand a holistic and comprehensive pricing strategy was one of the first things we worked on, but also determining what are his business goals, right? We helped him identify his target clients and developed a growth plan. His growth plan is a 3-year plan. And Dr. Barbeau also provided some guidance on some government contracts, client management, and sales meetings, right? As someone who had never had any experience starting or running their own business and doesn't really know anyone who owns and operates their own business, he just was going into client meetings not really prepared on how to speak about his service and his product, and also how to pitch the price to them, right? Obviously, one of the first things we did is revise his pricing. So obviously, he's going to charge a little bit more now, right? So, and when it came to communicating with any existing clients, like, hey, my prices are going to go up. We went through that exercise with him. Okay, like, this is how you can communicate that type of bad news per se, but this is how you can also communicate to how you do a cold call, right? Or if you're able to secure a meeting with a C-level executive for an organization and or a business, this is how you're going to want to come prepared. You want to, provide them with a printout. You want to send something ahead of time by email. You want to, touch on your 3 main things. We went through that exercise with him to help prepare him. And since working with the SBDC, he's been able to triple his average monthly revenue, which is no small feat. And he's working with clients now who actually value and can afford his services, and helped him increase his confidence when he does reach out to clients and in those sales meetings, right? Increasing your average monthly revenue by 3-fold over 1 year, again, is no fault of me. He's now has secured his first government contract. So if you've paid any attention to Salinas Valley Recycles or the Solid Waste Authority, any of all their marketing videos, he's the mastermind behind all those different projects. And he actually recently won a national award for his work on the marketing side for recycling types of advertisements. And the folks just picked up that award in Wichita, Kansas, right? So really elevating all of his work. Here we have the list of, not a completely exhaustive list, but these are just some of the business advisors that we have on staff at the Central Coast SBDC. And like I mentioned, we are part of a network. So if we don't have a business advisor with a specialty area and or linguistic ability to provide services to you, we are able to tap into the Central California network first. There's a total of 7 different centers. Each center has anywhere from 30 to 50 business advisors that are contracted with them particularly. So like I mentioned, if we don't have someone on staff that can help you out based on your needs, you can always tap into our network of other business advisors from our other centers that have those areas of expertise. But just to highlight a few, like I mentioned, we have folks that are CPAs. We have folks that are, attorneys like Mr. Lockett, Ms. Gannon with different areas of expertise, Ms. Lorenzi, who is also an attorney, folks with MBAs, folks that are more generalists, right? People that can provide more just general guidance on creating a business plan, a marketing plan, general permitting support. And like I mentioned, folks that are have areas of expertise that are a little bit more particular, like exporting specialists. Actually, Mr. Bogart specializes with exporting to South American markets and Asian markets. And we have other business advisors that focus on different parts of the world, right? But you don't just have to take our word for it, right? We actually have hard, concrete data to back up not only the satisfaction of our clients, but the success of our clients. And one of those important metrics is actually sales, right? So businesses that receive one-on-one SBDC business advising experience a 15.7% increase in year-over-year sales compared to the national average of 6.2%. That's more than double what an average business who does not work with an SBDC business advisor would experience, right? Again, and these are just averages, so they may be lower or higher depending on your business, but on average, 15.6%. Just to give an example, if you're making $100,000 this year and you experience a 15.7% increase, that means that next year you're making $115,700 as opposed to $106,200, right? So that's that kind of difference. About approximately a little bit over 2/3 of our pre-venture SBDC clients actually start their business, right? So we work with a variety of different folks, whether you are already in business or you're wanting to start a business. Of that pool of folks that have no previous businesses, and this would be their first business, over 2/3 of them are actually able to start their business, which is a very high success rate in terms of getting folks to actually go from the thought process from idea to business plan to execution, right? And not only are they starting, they're staying in operations. Average statistics say that your average business will not survive after the first year of operation. And, just making it to 5 years is a whole benchmark and goal in and of itself. And our clients are really successful in that because they are able to do that planning ahead of time, right? There's the famous adage, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail, right? And we make sure that our clients plan for success from the onset, right? By creating their business plan, by knowing who to talk to, even if they don't need to call us every week or every month, they know exactly who to go to and where to go to for support when they need it. Our clients are also very much satisfied with the type of services we provide. Over 90% of our clients find SBDC services beneficial to their business. 96% of our clients will recommend our services to other business owners and or entrepreneurs. And on average, our clients would rate their business advisors 4.5 out of 5 stars if we're going on a star basis, right? And the way that we like to communicate, your business advisor relationship to folks and business owners and entrepreneurs is think about it as a medical relationship, right? Yes, when you go to the doctor, they may or may not tell you like, hey, you have some high blood pressure, you're at risk of you're pre-diabetic, right? You're at early risk for X disease. But it's the same thing with working with the business advisor. It's like, yes, I'm going to go to them, but they're going to tell me I'm doing this wrong, or they're going to tell me like, I'm doing this wrong. But if we catch those things on early enough, similar like a medical emergency, right, we're able to treat it before it becomes a bigger issue, or we're able to address it completely, right, before it becomes a bigger issue, and then we're not able to salvage anything, or things are too advanced, where we're kind of basically telling folks there's really nothing we can do for you, right? So we always recommend folks to reach out. When's the last time you revisited your business plan, right? Your business plan 1 year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago may not be the same business plan that you need for the next 5 years, right? Maybe you already achieved all those goals or half of your goals, and maybe you repivoted at some point during the last 5 years or the last couple of years, and maybe you went from a target market of, middle-aged folks to a younger crowd, right? Your business plan shifted, right? Your product shifted. Maybe you were a retail business that focused on clothing, and now you're a retail business that has clothing and some other type of perhaps skincare product line, right? Your business is an ever-evolving, ever-changing thing. Your business plan should also be an ever-evolving, ever-changing document. Same with the marketing assessment, right? When's the last time that you had a marketing assessment? Not so much done marketing, but how do you do your marketing? Is it effective? Are you actually reaching your target client? Are you actually seeing sales resulting from that marketing, right? So we go through that exercise of, if you're putting an advertisement in the newspaper as your primary source of marketing, which is not necessarily in an effective way, right? In the world, depending on who your target audience is, that might be the effective way. But how are you tracking that? When folks come into your business or when they call, are you actually asking them, hey, how did you hear about us? Is anyone telling you that they actually heard about you through the newspaper or through that advertisement that you're paying for, through the radio, right? Or on TV? If you're not actually seeing the results, let's revisit how you're actually doing and executing your marketing plan. Same with the financial assessment. Maybe your sales are great. Everything's going great. You owe nothing to the IRS. You're fine with the tax and franchise board. All your permits are up to date. All your sales are going great. Your staffing is all good. Everything's in order. But we can always do better, right? We can always look at our finances holistically and say, that's where we look at trends like, hey, your average cost for the milk that you're using, for the bread that you're making, the cost of that increased over 15% over the last 3 months. Have you considered another vendor that has more affordable product with the same quality, right? That's when we go into those different exercises and we get really nitpicky. But again, you won't know that unless you go through that exercise of going through a financial assessment. Even with an HR compliance assessment, the state of California has HR laws that change year over year, labor laws. So just making sure that you're up to date with any new changes that may have gone into effect over the last 6 months, over the last year. Are you doing all the types of trainings, right? So if you're in the construction industry, are you doing all of your OSHA trainings? If you're in a medical facility, is everyone trained up to date on proper hand washing techniques, on proper attire, proper PPE, proper sanitation techniques for the actual facilities themselves, and so much more, right? So basically the point of what we're trying to communicate is whatever it is that you need, even if you feel like you may not need anything, right? If you feel like your business is doing well, you could do great. You could always do better, right? So just reach out to us and see how we can support your business. This is also one of our clients, Cereza Beauty. They just opened up their business down in the city of Soledad. We helped her with opening up the grant, coordinating the grand opening, but also with helping her secure some funding through a loan administered by the city of Soledad, right? So that's how we reached out to her and helped her. And she's actually in the process of hiring her first employee, right? So from April through October, she's already ready to hire her first employee. And I think that just speaks to the testament about the type of value that our advisors bring to your business venture, and that by working with us, we're committed to making sure that you're successful and that you actually grow and meet your business goals. I also want to mention some of the other types of programs that we support. I just want to highlight this one in particular, even though we do administer a few other ones. We support childcare entrepreneurs through our partnership with the Nurture program. So our Central California SBDC network, our lead center is based out of UC Merced, partnered with the Nurture. Nurture is a statewide nonprofit organization that focuses solely on providing training for folks that want to get licensed to start a home-based childcare facility or a center-based childcare facility. So we partnered with them particularly to offer a free bilingual and virtual 12-week program for small home-based childcare licensing. This is the license for 8 or fewer children out of your home. It's a type of license where you don't have to contact or have permission from the landlord if you're a renter, and it doesn't cause too many additional issues. Our program is bilingual, so we have separate cohorts for English and separate cohorts for our Spanish speakers. They're also all completely virtual. So you don't necessarily need a computer or some advanced form of technological device. All you need is a smartphone, right? Most of us have a smartphone nowadays. As long as you are able to download the Nurture app, we do everything out of our app and Zoom. So you'll be able to participate through there. We also offer a $1,000 startup grant. So it's a very quick, fast-paced program, right? It's 12 weeks. That means it's 3 months. It's, week after week after week. Your homework for the week is basically getting your permits, getting any vaccinations that you might need, getting through any background checks you might need, creating your business plan, creating your marketing plan, getting all those things in order. We go through that process with you, right? And we also have staff that walks and is available at any time. If you have a question at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you can always call one of our folks and say, hey, I filled out this form. Where do I submit it? Or where do I go next? Or I submitted this, I haven't heard back. They can always contact us for that type of support. And the $1,000 startup grant is available to them once they complete the program successfully and are licensed. We provide them with a $1,000 startup grant, right? So what can these types of funds be used for? Say, I am a renter in the home that I rent, but I need to make some improvements to the backyard because I want to install a playground for the kids, right? That's what the $1,000 can go for. Or I want to have, children's sized tables so they're not sitting at my dining table. I want one that's like more appropriately sized for the children with appropriately sized, tools like, the plastic cups and all those types of things. Everything that you need to run a business, that's what those eligible funds would be used for. In this year alone, we've had over 114 participants in Monterey County, particularly. 48 of them have already completed the entire program and secured their license and are in business. Of the 48, 35 of them are already at capacity with children, and 8 are accepting new enrollment for a few more kids. Of those, you can see that the vast majority of the participants in the Nurture program are Spanish speaking, with 72 out of the 114 of them being Spanish speakers and 42 of them being English speaking participants. And we are currently accepting applications and enrolling for our new cohort, which will start in January 2026. So if you're interested, feel free to reach out. We're always happy to support you. And again, this is a completely free training for folks. I'm gonna go ahead and skip that one. And just, again, a little bit more about data. We served over 253 businesses in Monterey County, over 20 businesses in San Benito County, 13 veteran-owned businesses. 40% of the businesses that we serve and the clients that we serve are home-based businesses, right? So these are your childcare providers. They're the MICO permits, micro enterprise home kitchen operation permits, right? Folks that operate a food-based business out of their home. These are your handymans that operate outside of their home, right? These are all those different businesses that when you think of like, I can probably start this from home, these are all those types of businesses. We also helped our clients secure over $1.6 million in capital funding. This includes loans and grants, and we're really proud of this number, even though it may seem a little bit small. The we have to take into account that the majorities are in microloans or micro grants. So $50,000 or less, and it takes a lot of $50,000, issuances of money to get to $1.6 million. We also provide over 721 hours of one-on-one expert business advising to our clients, helped our clients secure over $300,000 worth in government contracts. And notably, over half of our clients are women-owned businesses and entrepreneurs. And we're really proud of that because we're very intentional about making sure that we do outreach to our communities and folks that have historically been underserved and are underrepresented in business to make sure that they're able to access and are aware of the resources that are available to them. Interestingly enough, some of our top business sectors served, and this is surprising even to me, our top business sector served is the arts, entertainment, and recreation sector, right? So we work with a lot of folks that are in the arts and recreation sectors in particular, right? Folks that are wanting to start more hospitality-based businesses where you're not so much providing a service or a product, you're providing an experience, right? So that's the category of folks that's the greatest portion of our clients. The second greatest section of our clients is professional, scientific, and technical services, right? So like I mentioned earlier, these are the Dr. Thompsons of the world that have, a professional degree that are provide those types of services. These are the CPAs of the world, any folks that have more of a professional or advanced degree that are able to do that type of work from home or independently. And we also, unsurprisingly, accommodation and food services, accommodation being more hotels and food service being just general restaurants, all your food trucks, and all those types of things. Top services requested, unsurprisingly, number one thing that people seek out is startup support, right? I don't even know where to start. Where do I pull a permit? Do I even need a permit, right? Depending on the type of business, you may or may not need a permit, right? You may or may not need a business license. Are there any state filings that I have to do depending on my type of business? Are there any federal filings that I need to do? If I file as an LLC, what additional requirements does that put on my business, right? If you file an LLC, you'll probably have to do quarterly tax submissions instead of doing them annually, right? So just walking through folks through all those different nuances, marketing and sales, those two kind of go hand in hand. People usually reach out to us to increase their sales, but a little bit of that is also tied to, how are you doing your marketing? How do folks find out about your business? How do I find out about your service, right? Are you even, if I look your business up or a service up on Google, will your business show up, right? Going through that exercise with folks. And also funding and loan readiness, right? Like with any business, it takes money to start a business. It takes money to run a business. It takes money to make a business successful. And we help folks determine what their financing options are, right? We work with folks that have excellent credit and we have folks that have not so excellent credit. And we work through their situation particularly to look through what their options are. Maybe it's not a commercial loan due to credit and or a variety of different factors. Maybe it's an individual loan, right? Maybe it's a line of credit. Maybe it's a revolving line of credit, right? There's differences between a revolving line of credit and a regular line of credit. Maybe it's a microloan through a CDFI, a community development financial institution, right? So we go through that exercise with folks to determine what's the most viable path forward to secure the financing that you need for your business, and also helping them identify and apply for any grants that they might be eligible for, right, as well. And with that, that concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to take any questions if you folks have any.
All right, thank you. So here's a question for you, Jose. So beyond you have your contact information there, but is there any other best ways to contact or reach out to the SBDC?
This would probably be the best way to reach
Okay.
out. This is my direct email. This is my direct line at the office as well, or address. You can always reach out. Totally recommend if you're more comfortable with email, send me an email, give me a call. We can always schedule some time, whether it's at one of our primary offices in Salinas, our outreach centers in Monterey or Soledad. We also do site visits sometimes, right? So if you're business owners are busy people, right? So if you're not able to really get away from the office or your business, your restaurant, we can also go and meet you there and have that conversation there as well.
Awesome. Thank you. One other question is this presentation might be shared outside of, the Monterey County. So if people are interested but they don't live in Monterey County, what can they do?
They can always reach out, just type in to Google, right? My local SBDC, or if anything, because we are part of a network, even if you call us, yes, we're going to tell you you're not assigned to our territory, but we'll internally refer you to the appropriate center, right? So we don't want to make you have to call another person or give you another phone number, right? We don't want to be that agency that tells you, hey, I'm not the right person, here's a number, and then bounce from person to person. We like to just handle things internally. So if they're even from out of the county and they see this presentation, would still just go ahead and reach out to me. I'm happy to go ahead and make the referral internally to help facilitate the process for our clients.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, I'll give a couple more seconds if there's a question. All right. I think with that, we will wrap up. Again, thank you so much for being with us, Jose. I am Miranda Doremus Resner. I am a teacher at the Salinas Adult School, and I work with the Salinas Valley Adult Education Consortium. Please remember to follow us on Facebook, as well as if you are interested in having this recording, this will be available later today. And please reach out to Ana Mendoza at the Salinas Adult School. And with that, thank you so much for being with us. And I'll stop the recording.
Awesome.